Just 3 days after this accused shooter shot a little boy, he walks free, making bond on Tuesday. It has this family angry and confused.
And I'm trying to figure out how he got a bond that was so low for trying to kill my kid.
Arnold Daniel trying to figure out why Ryan Lee Nguyen is out of jail after allegedly shooting his son Kobe.
He tried to hit me with a sledgehammer, but that's not gonna work because I'm too fast.
So then what did he do?
Got a gun. Boom! Shot me right here.
It's all on video Saturday afternoon on Candlewood Lane. You'll see kids playing, hear a gunshot, then Kobe realizes he's hit. Lee Nguyen allegedly fired through his front window. The bullet went in Kobe's arm and out the other side.
He's bleeding! He got shot! Kobe got shot! Kobe got shot! Police!
Did it hurt?
Yes.
You point to it? Show us where it's at.
Right now, he's not even processing exactly what happened. You know, he don't realize how close he came to not being here. But I realize it.
29-year-old Lee Nguyen is charged with assault with intent to murder. He's apparently had issues with neighbors in the past, and this time, Dad Arnold suspects Lee Nguyen was mad Kobe's bike was in his yard.
I'm irate, really. I mean, I can't function, and I don't know what to do.
A Washtenaw County judge gave him a $10,000 cash bond, which he made Tuesday. This is him walking out, picked up by family. The prosecutor's office shocked at the low bond. They're filing an emergency motion to get it changed. A judge's order not to return home, but it's a piece of paper, says Arnold.
I'm scared for my family, you know, but I'm scared for them because I don't know what he's capable of.
Reporting.
Okay, shout out to Stephanie Dews for sending me this story, and I'm glad that she sent it to me because if it hadn't been for her, I would have never known about this story. Like, I didn't know that this was even a story until it was sent to me, and then I looked it up, and sure enough, this just recently happened. Because my first thought was that this recently happened, or was this something that happened like a month ago? But it's something that was very recent because the article that I did come across that's not attached to the video or the audio that you just heard was posted 13 hours ago. So it was less than 24 hours ago when it did indeed happen. Now, you have in the midst of everything going on, where you had the Asian American community talking about stop Asian hate and all of this stuff right here and how they keep pinning it on. A lot of the times they want to talk about, oh, let's talk about the role black people play in being attacked. I mean, the role that black people play of them attacking Asian people over the years and stuff like that. And then you have this situation right here where you have this Asian man who shot out of his window, almost like he was a damn sniper, because they show the bullet hole from where the gun was shot at. Like, he didn't even open up his window when he did it. He shot straight through the window and shot this boy. And you can actually see, like, they actually show the footage of the boy being shot, like, as you heard. You're just going to see it because I didn't play it. Because someone had a ring in system installed, and that's how you could see it. And you could hear the gunshots coming out. He shot literally at kids. There was nothing but kids out there and like one adult. And when I say kids, I'm talking about kids that were probably all under the age of 10. And you could see, you could hear them yelling in the background, Kobe got shot, Kobe got shot. And people screaming. All because of a bike in his yard. But they want to go around screaming about some stop Asian hate. And then you have stories like this. And then to make everything even worse is that extremely low bond that he got. This guy could have killed a child that day. And they gave him a weak $10,000 bond, which means at 10%, he only had to pay a stack. Do you know how easy that is to come by nowadays? He probably had that. He could have bonded himself out. He was released on bond after only being locked up for 3 freaking days. They said that his doctors say that if the bullet had been an inch in either direction, the boy would have died. So luckily, it was not going in the way that it that it could have. And then they talked to the boy and everything and had to make him relive that traumatic experience. And it's interesting too, because in the news clip they actually had the nerve to show the boy, because they like to always conceal the identity, or they should conceal the identities of minors. But they actually had this boy's face all in the camera. Like, you could clearly see his face. It wasn't blurred out or nothing. Sometimes they'll point the camera down towards their feet or something to let them remain anonymous. And not in this case. They had the camera all in the boy's face, so we know who the boy looks like. And I also have to address the dad. Why does the dad make it seem like he says, like he tried to make it seem like he's so scared? Like, his response, in my opinion, is not the right one. Like he said, talking about he's scared, he doesn't know what he'll do, because he's gonna be back home and everything like that. Excuse me, this man just took a gun, a huge gun at that, and shot through his window and shot your son, and he could have killed your son. Luckily, he didn't even blow his son's arm off, because the boy got shot in the arm. And you're talking about you don't know what you would do? Excuse me. What you should have done is had a whole damn drop squad waiting for this dude when he at his house, so he could have been greeted properly when he got home. That's what I would have had happen. This guy could have killed your son that day. It's bad enough that he shot him over a bike being in the yard. A bike. And your response is, I'm scared, I don't know what I'll do. Excuse me? That is not, I'll say it again, that is not the proper response. That is not how you deal with that. You, as the parent, should be finding a way to protect your child. Like, that part actually, kind of pissed me off when I heard that. I don't know what it is with some of these parents and everything like that, talking about you like you scared. Excuse me? Like, this guy could have took your son out that day. Like, for real. And that's the response you give. That's the best response you could give. No. But as for this guy right here, he ain't shit. This is exactly why you could not give me or get me onto the Stop Asian Hate bandwagon. And then you'll probably have some Negroes out there still talking about it, and this story right here will be floating right underneath their nose. And then you got them idiots out there, who are supposed to be for black people, who are the ones who are in charge with the laws and whatnot, or pseudo in charge of the laws, can't even get the damn any type of anti-black bill signed. Because I noticed one thing with his charges. He didn't get charged with a hate crime. He didn't get charged with a hate crime. Like, when they ran through the charges, and the charges even seemed kind of lowballed already, he was not charged with a hate crime. Now, had it been reversed, and it had been a black neighbor that got tired of a little Asian boy leaving his bike in the yard, and he took his gun and shot through the window in the same scenario. You didn't have to change a thing. First off, the response would have been a whole lot different, most likely from that parent, opposed to how the dad reacted. And number two, the Asian community would have rallied behind that, and they probably even have to do all of that because they already have a bill. So that's enough rallying right there. That hate crime would have been the first thing slapped on that black dad, or that black parent, or that black neighbor. That would have been the first thing they put up there, above all else, and they would have found a way for them charges to stick. I'm just saying. And the bond, what bond? I was about to say the bond would have been that low. There probably wouldn't have been a bond at all. And if it was a bond, it would have probably been damn near close to $1 million or more. Because keep in mind, not only did this guy shoot through his window and shot this boy, and the boy could have died, but there were other kids around that he endangered their lives as well. That little boy was not the only one that was out there on that bike. It was other kids out there playing. And it was like an adult as well. So their life was in danger as well. Because I saw it, like you saw the gunshots and he was running and everything like that. And in the midst of everything going on in adrenaline, the little boy didn't even know he was shot until somebody pointed out he was shot. All over a damn bike. There's probably so much more that I could say right now, and it probably is. But I think I pretty much got my point across. Because, like I said, I have issues definitely with this dude right here. Definitely. And you could already see, like when they showed the clip, you could actually see him literally walking out of the police station or wherever he was being held at and walking into the car of whoever was picking him up. And then the dad's response was no. It was not the proper response. I don't know what it is with some of these black parents, but y'all need to have a better response when it comes to something like this. For real, for real. I would say I hope that I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and say maybe he's just putting on for the cameras because he doesn't want to incriminate himself. If so, hey, I take back what I said. But if not, and this is more so the latter that I will agree with, it is the latter in saying that he's putting on that everything he said on that camera is actually all of what he's giving, and that's the only response he feels to give, then shame on him. Like I said over here, equal opportunity, because I wasn't about to let the dad slide with that response. I refuse. But I'm glad that the little boy is okay. Unfortunately, that's going to be a traumatic experience. That is a traumatic experience for him that he's going to have to live with for the rest of his life. And, you know, every time he looks down his arm, that's going to be a reminder of this piece of shit right here. If you want to know how you can get someone to turn against an entire group of people, let something like this happen. And I'm willing to bet that him shooting at that boy over the bike was not even the real reason. I'm willing to bet it was something much more deeper than that. Because who does that over a bike? Who does that? No. I want to believe that there was more reason to this than over a bike being in the yard. Because if you heard it also in the news clip, they said that he has had issues, or neighbors have had issues with him for a while now. So this is something that has been festering on and on and on. It's been a buildup. So they said the neighbors have had issues with him. And he's had issues with the neighbors for a while now. So this guy is not, it seems like this guy's just not a likable person. And on that day, he decided to act on it. And he did. That's something they need to take into consideration should this actually go to court, and it needs to go to court. For real. Like, it's bad enough they gave him that low ball of a bond, but don't let that thing slide and not end up in court. Like, this guy tried to kill someone. He tried to kill a child Like, really take that in. He tried to and almost killed a child that day over a bike in his yard and got a $10,000 bond. We have black men in jail right now for weed, something that will not kill you unless it's laced with something deadly. But this guy gets a $10,000 bond for almost killing a child. He's shooting and almost killing a child over a bike, allegedly over the bike. Like I said, I think it was something more than just that damn bike. The bike is just a cover. Anyway, I'm done. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Okay, so I'm coming back on here because I wanted to play this audio. This is the video, but just to protect it, just in case they try to do something funny, I'm gonna play the audio of this Zoom call that happened involving the shooter of that little boy and this judge whose name is Alicia V. Fink, and her giving out the $10,000 bond that Ryan Nguyen received after he shot a little black boy in the arm, excuse me, from his window. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it. The audio is about 2 minutes and 20 seconds long.
For such a high surety bond, but nobody's here to talk to me about it. All right, I'm going to set the bond at $10,000 cash or surety, no 10%. No contact with Colby Daniel. I don't want him to live at the Candlewood address. So can we have a different mailing address for him if we have one?
Mr. Nguyen, where do you want your mail to go?
Can I go to my father's address, which is 5709 Cary Drive, Ypsilanti, 48197.
Before I go any further into this, pay attention to what just happened. They asked him, where do you want your mail to go? Since they're not going to send him to his home, because they already know if they send him to his home, then people are going to be out there waiting for him most likely. But notice that when he gave out the address to where he wanted his mail to go, they did not blur out or silence when he said it. Like, you literally heard for yourself through your own ears out of his mouth his father's address. That might not have been the smartest thing to do, because people are going to write that address down and they're going to go to his dad's house and involve the people in something that has nothing to do with his dad, but more so with him. So you really want to put your dad's life at risk like that? Whoever did not edit out him saying that. So he literally, like I said, he literally said his address on this on this live feed. And that's one of the things a lot of people in the comment section who watch this noticed immediately. They was like, wait, did he just put his address out there? You don't think people are going to start writing that down? This thing right here has a lot of people riled up, more so than the dad, unfortunately, but riled up nonetheless. And I think that guy right there beside him, I think that's his attorney. But before I go back into that, back to this judge who gave that low bond, she said, okay, at no 10%. So that means he had to pay the full $10,000, but he still was able to come up with it because he only stayed in jail for like 3 days. So he is not like, so apparently this man is no slouch, or he comes from money. I don't know what his financial situation is, but it was enough for him to pay the whole 10 stacks.
Yes. Okay, and then Mr. Simon, do you want him to give me his email now, or do you want to do that
Sure,
later?
that's fine.
Okay. What's your email address, Mr. Lewin?
My email address is le.ryan123@gmail.
And he gave out his email. So people now know what his dad's address is. and what his email is. Man, listen. Whoever did not silence him saying that address and his email address, I don't know if they got a funny or petty bone or have an issue with him. I'm not sure. I don't even know how the people, well, it says New Era Detroit, so I'm guessing they were the ones that got a hold of it because they got their stamp on it, which would explain why the telling of his email and the address was not blurred out or not muted.
Did you say the first two letters were M like Mary?
L as in
L, okay.
Lima, and then E as in elephant.
Dot Ryan 123. Okay. And is it all right with you if the court uses your email to contact you?
Yes.
Do you want to give me a phone number too?
Phone number is my phone number.
Yes.
Okay. It's 517-883-3795.
And his phone number. So we have an address, an email, and a phone number. Like all types of ways of contacting him has just been put out into the world. And I'm sure every last one of them is getting blown up right now. So now they know he's not at his home. Clearly, they knew not to send him there. So they're going to go to his dad's house. They know, his email, so they're going to blow that email up, and they're going to blow his phone up. But do I feel bad if that's what they're doing? Nope. He literally, this video, in a way, he doxed himself. Like, you gave out personal information. No one had to go scoping for it. You gave it out on this video.
All right. So while you're on bond, so I set the bond at $10,000 cash or surety. While you're on bond, no contact with the alleged victim, Colby Daniel. Do not go to Candlewood. Do you have belongings there? Do you need to go?
I do. I have my vehicle.
Okay. So
my vehicle are still.
He might still have some stuff there. Because the thing is, like I said, he was a neighbor. He lived in close proximity of this boy. So all they got to do is point out where he's his location, or just find the house with a bullet hole going through glass, and there you have it. This guy literally shot through his window, y'all. Listen, really pay attention. He had such a hard on to shoot that day. He didn't even bother lifting the window up and peeking behind a curtain. He shot through his window. Like, if you look at the news clip, you can literally see the bullet hole going through right there where the bullet went through the glass. I'm just very glad that little boy did not die, because they said if it was an inch over to either side, he would have died. So he is very lucky to be alive. And this Ryan Lee Nguyen and this Alicia V. Fink ain't shit. He's not shit for doing what he did to that boy, and she ain't shit for setting such a low bond. Did she think that he wasn't going to be able to pay it? He only stayed there, they said, 3 days? He was released after, 3 days? She thought, and the thing is, she had time to think about that, because if you listen to the audio, I'm a good listener of tone. She says, I'm going to set the bond at, pause, 10,000. Like, she had to think about that. He should have had no bond. He showed that he was a endangerment to that community and to children. And they said that they've had issues with him in the past. But they still let him go. Why? Were you afraid of of what was going to come from the Asian American community because of this whole Stop Asian Hate thing going on right now? They got y'all by the balls. And speaking of that, Where is the so-called Asian community right now? I have not heard a peep from them since this happened. And this story is now everywhere. Like I told you, when I first learned about this story, it was at like almost 5 in the morning. And since then, I've been seeing it everywhere. And everybody has been hitting me up, asking me when I was going to talk about it. I said, give me some time, because if I had just quickly thrown this stuff out there, I wouldn't have been able to gather some of this information right now that I just found, because this was just posted like an hour ago. That's the reason why I don't like to put stuff out rushed, because there might be some more stuff coming out that could be added to the commentary. That way I don't have to do video on top of video on top of video about it. If I could just add it into one video, and if any other updates come from it, then, you know, I'll just have to make another commentary or commentaries following up about it. But yeah, fuck her and him as far as I am concerned. Both of them can go straight to hell. I told you this was an ongoing thing, so I'm back on here again. I keep thinking it's going to be over, but it is not over. So, this actually just came out today on June 10th, 2021, where it is now been announced that Ryan Lee Nguyen is now back in custody after they increased his bail because the community, black people mainly, said his bail was too low and he should not be out of jail for what he did, which is indeed correct. But my thing is this: why does it have to take for the community to have to push back against this for them to actually do the right thing? I kept saying, I think I said in my first part of this video that because of that whole anti-Asian hate crime bill that they have now, they're giving them so much leeway to do whatever it is that they want and practically almost get away with attempted murder. And in some cases, it could be get away with murder. I mean, we've seen it happen before. With that Soon the Jew chick and Peter Liang out of New York. So this is what happened here. And I also saw a video where you had the organization New Era Detroit actually went to go meet with the father of the boy, and they were talking to him, and they were talking about how people were calling the courthouse and everything like that, like blowing the phone up in the email. So all of that cultivated to them putting him back into custody. And remember what I said in a part about with the Zoom call and then putting his information out there. I said it's probably not in his best interest to go anywhere right now, because like you put your phone number out there, you put your address and your email, all of your personal stuff out there with not your address, but your father's address as well out there. So people can find out where you are. So my thing is, I think they're doing this one because the community pushed back against that weak bond, which should have been no bond. And because he put his information out there. Now, one thing that needs to happen too, and I've seen it already in the comment section, is they need to fire that judge who passed that ridiculous bond. That Alicia, or that what's her name? Y'all know what I'm talking about. I forgot her name already, but she has to go too because she passed that weak bond. So I don't know what else is going to come from this before I upload this video. If anything does come up, then of course we'll just keep going on and add it on to the commentary that I already have.